Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Today, this is Kent from Razor's Edge. Today, got a Japanese knife that came in, and a Saito. And these are nice knives from the I believe it's actually the Saito region of Japan. So, anyway, the gentleman is not happy. Says it's not cutting the way he wants it to. So we're going to take it and make it cut like new. And what we're going to do, instead of using machines today, I think it's cutting great, but he wants it to where it's cutting unbelievably good. We are going to do some stonework on this today. So my initial thoughts on this is it's got minor, I put it under the microscope, it's got a little bit of microchipping. And these knives are clad steel, so which means they're a Damascus type steel. And what I'm going to do is we're going to work it on the stone, and we're going to work it from 1,000 to 3,000, and I think I'll finish at 6,000 with this one. I think taking it up to 15,000 is a little redundant. And what I'm going to do is show you how I do it and what we're using to accomplish it. And it's just a 3-stone system. It's a King's, it's a King's sharpening stone, which is kind of like is an average stone. Now, and then I use a ceramic 3,000 grit stone I got from a Japanese company. And then I'll finish it up on the King 6,000 actually. And we'll hand strop it on a leather strop too. And this knife should come out just beautiful. So really looking forward to it. I love working on these blades. It's just a fun time, and they always turn out the caliber and the quality of steel that they use on these things is incredibly awesome. So here we go. All right, y'all, so I got my Seiko knife here. Okay, this is 1,000 grit King stone. I'm going to wet it down a little bit more. It's been soaking. Get a good, nice moisture. So when applying using a King stone and using this type of a knife, I usually go at about a 15 degree angle. Okay. Now, one of the hardest things about these knives is keeping consistent angle. So, what you can also do is work your knife in sections. And move it back and forth. And you'll start to see a little bit of that carbon kick up on the edge of the stone here. These stones were recently flattened just using a regular 220 grit flattening stone. And what I'll do, I'll actually check for a burr. And I already got one through most of the knife. So I got one on the back here. Can you hear that? Hear that? Hear it there? Can't hear anything up here, which is really normal. So I'll go back, work my area on that stone. Still not much. There we go. And I got a burr. And you'll get a slurry like this. You see that, all that brown stuff kick up from the stone? That's pretty normal. So wipe off a little bit of the stone here. And this is just regular water. I'll wipe off this part of the stone. Okay. And then what I'll do is I'll move this over a little bit, and then I'll start. Now, a lot of hand sharpeners will tell you one thing. Do not use different hands to sharpen. I think you should. Because it develops a bigger skill set. Also, when you're sharpening in sections of the knife, it's easy to actually turn the knife down like this, and you will actually, like, I actually gotta be careful just doing it now talking about it, because I'll lose my train of muscle motion. And I'm not basically pushing any pressure on this blade. Check for a burr. And there shouldn't be one yet, because I haven't worked it too much. Starting to get some good carbon footprint up there. Check for, all right, we're getting a burr. Hear that again? Over here so it's easier to see as well. And another thing you'll notice with these knives, you don't get a lot of, on lower quality knives, you'll get a lot of carbon footprint. Like, you'll get a lot of clear dust buildup at the end and down here when you're sharpening your knife. And that usually means a lower quality knife. Not always, but usually. And this thing barely has, this Saito barely has any carbon kickoff. You can see it on here. The camera isn't a powerful enough camera I'm using to really see that. Okay. Got a beautiful burr built up on both sides. So what I'll also like to do is I'll set up, got my home with me. All right, I just had it where to do it. And what I'll do is I'll use the rough side of the hone and I'll rub the knife to knock off the burr. And that 1000 grit stone usually does a great job of just getting that rough edge, even though 1000 grit really, on most knives, Western knives, is a great angle. Now on the Japanese knives, when you're doing a lot of very specialized cutting, it makes a difference quite a bit. So, okay, let's more copy paper here. And we'll see how this is cutting through. So now that's cutting a lot better, okay? But I am feeling a little bit where I missed it up at the tip here, so I'll work that back out. And on a knife like this where it's curved, you can actually see right there, I can actually see it in the light where I didn't hit it good enough. This side is okay, but this side is not. And I was feeling it in the cuts because I'll come mid bevel and I can feel like a little bit of resistance there. So what I'll do is I'll put the stone, put this back on the stone. Okay. And I'll re-wet the stone a little bit. Okay. And I'll work the tip of that stone. And the biggest part is you don't want to scratch any of the cladding, the beautiful design. So. Okay, get a little bit more of a better bevel on. And I'll work this side too. I like that. Got a nice little bit of a, come back to this. Work it back up and down there. Let's try another test cut. Tip here. Much better. Okay, good. I'm trying to work that tip. Very good. I'm much happier with that. Okay. All right, that's good. So, got that down. Put this back away. So this was 1,000 grit stone, king stone. On the back side are going to be our finishing stone. This is actually a 6,000 freshly grit, freshly flattened stone. And these are synthetic stones, by the way. This is actually a synthetic. Well, I wouldn't call it synthetic. This is a ceramic stone. This is a 3,000 grit stone. Okay. And it is, I forgot if I got this from a company in Sapporo, Japan is where I ordered it from. And this is the workhorse. Like, I actually have another stone just like this for shears. And what I'll do is I'll actually work it on the inside of hair shears. And it works out great. So, same process. Kind of get my feel here. And on this stone, since it's a lighter color stone, you can actually see the stone. More of the grit working its way off. And that again is a very light grit. So these knives are such high quality. I don't know if this is a Japanese paper steel knife, like a paper white paper 1 or 2. I'm not quite sure. But this gentleman wanted this knife hand sharpened on stones because he is a professional chef. Again, just trying to keep my angle, my hand locked, my wrist locked. and looking consistently, not really taking my eye off the angle, not trying to raise it, but actually lower it a little bit, because your natural tendency is to always lift your wrist when you're doing this. It's just human, it's just the way it is. Okay. Now, it's much harder to feel for a burr. Got a good burr on this side, because the burrs are smaller each grit you move up, obviously. Add a little more water to the stone. And I found the biggest trouble I've had when sharpening on handstones is not rocking the blade. It is the biggest challenge of doing it on any blade you sharpen. And you'll hear me say this time after time after time. You want to consistently check for burrs. Keeping that right arm, keeping it locked right here, and just trying to keep your eye on the stone, making sure you keep consistent angle. Making sure I'm taking good care of the blade on that side. No scratching, anything like that, which is good. I'm not, because I do not want a very angry chef with me. Feeling a very, and I'm talking slight burr along the whole side of this knife. And that's 3,000 grit. This is ceramic stone. So ceramic stones usually cut much cleaner. You know, most of the time. So. Come over here a little bit. Actually feel in the handle you knocking off the bits of that grit or that burr. Check for a slight burr. The only point I'm not feeling it is right about here. You'll have to pardon me if you hear my dog in the background barking at the kids to play. Let's add a little more water to that. Okay. And get that. She is a newer puppy we've gotten, and she's, needless to say, when my wife sits down, she wants to play all the time. I'm actually out here in my business trailer sharpening this because it's the most quiet place to shoot videos, and I usually am on the road most of the time. I've just been getting more frequent drop-offs than I normally do. So, alright, so I'm not quite pleased with that back burr, so I'm going to try to give it a little more love on the back side here. And another thing that I've also noticed when other people have asked me, well, how do you do stone sharpening? You can actually dig your knife right into the stone and take chunks out of the stone. And then on top of that, you've gouged your blade, and then you got to resurface your stone. So it can be a very exhaustive process, to say the least, right? So, all right, we got a good slurry on that side. I felt a good burn on there, but like I said, the higher the grit you go, usually it's also the harder for the burr to be felt. Sheet of paper I'll put up here. Let me strop it real quick. Add a little more compound. This is some green oxide compound. Give it a little bit, more. That's a 3 micron green oxide compound. So. Okay. Here's our paper. Whew, and that is nice and smooth. Much smoother. You can feel. Okay. Do more of a slow cut to check for any kind of. All right. Also, let's try out some magazine paper. At least I thought I had some. There we go. Good old People's Magazine, my wife's good old reading material. High quality reading material, People's Magazine. Okay, let's see if it's catching on any of this as well. Woo! Beautiful. Smooth. Make sure I'm getting that. Down cuts, a full heel to toe cut. Beautiful. All right, that's the way it should be turning out. So let's hit it up on the finishing stone. Okay. And we'll call it a day. So that was our 3000 grit Japanese stone, ceramic stone. Let's go back to the king. Okay. Stone. Work our way on this, and this is our finishing stone. Lock my finger in. Same product. Oh, see? You can actually see how that kicks up a little. It caught a little bit of stone there almost, right? Make sure it's nice and smooth still. Okay, good. Still feeling some, no, all right. Feeling it nice and smooth, because that's the last thing I want to do is mess up all the work I just did. I know this is quite a long video. This gentleman paid me really a very good fee to sharpen this knife, and I want to do a really high quality job, because that's just my motto. I mean, if I'm gonna put my name on it, I want it to be the best that I possibly can deliver for a client. So this is just, I would work quicker probably and still do the same caliber work, but for the video I want to really show just the time, more of the time consumption and what goes into making a true good hand sharpening on Japanese stone, especially with a nice quality knife like this. And I mean an ever so faint burr. When I mean faint, I mean faint. 6,000 grit stone, hard to really feel that. Okay. That good. Cleaned up. Saw a little bit. Normally I have my Rikon my Rikon Power belt sander here. Not belt sander, I'm sorry, belt grinder. And that's what I use to sharpen 95% of all my knives with. Again, a lot of sharpeners are going to tell you do not do ambidextrous sharpening. Always sharpen with your strong hand. I would recommend against that. The learning curve is much steeper on doing ambidextrous sharpening, because you have to really. I'm right hand dominated, and let me tell you, it is quite a bit more difficult to learn. It took me probably about 2-3 years to get it down, and even then, to this day, you really got to fight your mind over kind of matter kind of thing, and try to build that muscle memory, okay, because that's what really helps you. So I by no means do I want this to come off as it's very simple, because it took me a very, very, very long time to build that skill set. And I just want anybody that might be watching this to know that I don't take it lightly at all. I take it very seriously, and I just want to. It's just my 2 cents on it, and whatever works best for you. So I just want to put that out there. Lock my finger back in there more, because I'm getting a little slippage. And sometimes I'll do short strokes, sometimes I'll do long strokes. Just depends more of the knife and what I'm feeling. You'll see me switch it up quite often. Right now I'm doing long stroke because I want to see the water patterning. And make sure that blade is kissing the front of this stone. And I'm feeling some really good micro burrs at the top half. I'll go on the bottom again. And the tip, actually, I'm not feeling as much. let's try that out in the strop. See how that works. Make sure I don't hit my stone up here. There goes my puppy dog again, being a crazy puppy. So I apologize about that. All right, feeling smooth. A little bit more burr. Switch it over to the smooth side. Really kick it up a notch. Get up any other micro burring that we might have had. Still use the seam green oxide. This is even the smoother side of the strop. And this is actually a Beavercraft strop. I've had a lot of luck with these. I got about 3 or 4 of them. And I really, really like their quality strops. They seem to have a really good quality. Well, they come with a dual strap side. And I think you can pick these up for about 28 bucks on Amazon. I can still feel some micro burring in there. Slowly coming off. My apologies about the noise on the other side there. My wife wanted a new dog after we lost our dog a little while ago. She's like, I want another one, and I fought her tooth and nail on it, and this is part of the reason why. But she is a really good puppy. All right, let's see if we can use this one. Wow, it's hard to tell you how good it feels, or how good it actually feels when you're actually cutting, because you're the person cutting it. But it's smooth, and I mean, nice, and it's controllably smooth. Like, I can go in and make these nice S cuts and C cut style curves. I mean, effortlessly. Well, that was a little wet there, but yeah, you can even go and just, let me see if I can. And you can wield the knife very easily with how sharp it is. That is cutting the way this knife is designed to cut. So what I'll do is I'll clean it up, put a little water on it, because I really don't like spraying these with alcohol too much. Just like cleaning it with a water bath, you know. Checking it for just in the light, for making sure that I got no other, pardon me, I'm getting out my good old magnifying glass here. Going down the edge and then just doing one final inspection before I put this in a paper sheath or sheath there. Perfect. I'm actually very happy with that. So I know the video turns out, what are we going on, about 28-30 minutes? So that's a little expensive, or a little expensive, little long, but for a knife that came out beautifully, very happy with it. And put it in a paper sheath. I love the handle on this too. It's got like a, well, it's a marble and an epoxy. Almost looks like a burl. When I was a knife maker, I loved trying to make these knives, but it is the amount of time and work that these guys put into these blades are, you know, amazing. So, okay, that's snug. And it's got my emblem on there, which is nice. You know, it keeps it in there. nice and clean. Let me put this over here. Keep this all nice and clean a little bit. It's all wet, but what I'll do is I'll deposit it back in here. And then what I do for my standard wrap is put it in a little bit of paper here. What I'll do that. Let's actually keep it wet. Pardon my off-camera cutting. I do apologize. Let me do this. There we go. And what I'll do is we'll wrap it in this. Oh, you know what? Before I do that, slide that in there. I like to keep the sheaths separate. I know that it might be a little odd, but for me, it's kind of just a way of doing things, but that way I don't forget it. Okay. And it shows that the knife's been sharpened when it takes out. I like putting them in my own paper sheets because it kind of keeps it, just like a professional look to it, I guess. And then, I'm not going to write his name on it in the video. Come on, let me find that. There we go. My business cards in here. And it is all ready to go. So that's kind of just the way it wraps out. Then it'll be in my pickup box form tomorrow. Here in Michigan, it's like 6 degrees, I swear. So, and then that just gives it a nice professional touch, and it's all set to go. Keeps it nice and wrapped, gives it a nice professional look. We're all set. So, thanks for watching, guys. I know this has been a long video, but that's just the process on a hand-requested stone sharpened knife. And it came out beautifully, and I'm very happy with it, and I love doing these. To me, it's almost therapeutic, so I really enjoy this part of the business, especially when I get these nice, high-quality Japanese knives in. Thank you for watching. Have a blessed week, and I'll be trying to put out some more videos. I got some more stuff I like to post, just more for shoe sharpening and stuff like that. And take care. This is Ken from Razor's Edge.